Welcome back to my channel, Explain English Movies. Today, I'll discuss the movie Soldier Boy, which is based on the true story of the youngest combatant in World War II. A family of three is seen enjoying their time by the river at the start of the film, which is set in Russia. As Sergei Aleshkov, the youngest of them, is bragging to his mother and older brother about being atop a tree, German fighter planes suddenly come overhead. The mother asks her kids to quickly hide in the bushes, but the 6-year-old claims he is not scared and strikes the jet with a slingshot. To everyone's surprise, he manages to hit the jets and explode them. However, he notices that his family has left. Fearful by the dream, Sergei shouts out for his mother when he awakens. At that moment, there's a knock on his door. He rushes in its direction, thinking it's his mother, but a terrified neighbor woman enters first. She tells him that his mother and brother have passed away and gives gratitude to God for keeping him alive. The young child wants to stay in the house to wait for his mother because he doesn't understand what she is saying. He should flee, the woman informs him, as the Germans have attacked them. Just then, some soldiers approach their house. Before she can join Sergei outside via the window, the woman is shot and killed. The 6-year-old is now living alone, without friends or family. Sergei sees his entire neighborhood blazing behind him as he flees the house. He finds himself in the middle of the woods after some time of running. The little kid starts to call for his mother to come and get him because he is lost. That night, he stays in the jungle. The following morning, we see him drink water from a river when the enemy soldiers approach his way. Sergei hastily hides inside a tree's roots after realizing they are deadly. When a snake approaches, he is terrified but does not scream or flee. Sergei fears the troops more than the snake. Sergei takes their remaining food and eats it for the rest of the night, when the troops finish their meal by the river and leave. But by the end of the day, the little child is worn out. He hasn't had a proper meal in days and has been walking with no destination. He stumbles and falls, yet he keeps moving. He eats some wild berries he finds along the route, but just then, he is caught off guard by an explosion that happens behind him. The boy experiences vertigo and begins to see someone approaching from behind. He informs the person he has a weapon and is not afraid though, even in such dire circumstances. He limps forward but falls unconscious after a while. While he is asleep, two soldiers approach him. The scene cuts to the Russian army base where Commander Kuznetsov waits for his patrol soldiers. They come in with the little kid, who is injured and weak. When the soldiers claim they are on his side, the little boy opens up and introduces himself. The soldiers laugh when the kid shakes his hand with the commander, suggesting he introduce himself too. The soldiers feel affectionate with the little kid and circle him around. They make him drink water and feed him. Even the otherwise cold commander takes care of the kid. Sergei's wounds are attended to by Katya, a nurse, who is also enchanted with his demeanor. The child requests that she draw a tank over his injuries, since he hopes to grow up to be a soldier. Even the wounded warriors feel better after speaking with the child. Sergei finds the commander's gun and his batch fascinating. After removing the bullets from the honorary pistol, the commander also responds to all of the little boy's inquiries and allows him to play with it. Sergei brags of being a soldier and shows him the tank that is drawn on his stomach. The youngster is recovering quite rapidly. The nurse Katya asks the commander to let the boy stay with the battalion, but he disagrees, claiming that it won't be safe. He wants to send Sergei to an orphanage. The soldiers spent all their free time with Sergei. Throughout the day, several people pay him visits. They even let him use their binoculars while they bring him food that their distant relatives have provided. A soldier approaches the commander one day and requests permission for the boy to remain with the regiment. The child and the troops have developed a tight bond with them, considering him to be their own. His presence takes the weight of war off their chest. However, the commander is adamant about sending the boy to the orphanage for his own safety. The following day, the enemies attack, and many soldiers are hurt. A vehicle comes to fetch Sergei to take him to the orphanage. The commander breaks the news to the kid and gives him a wooden honorary pistol as a gift. The boy in turn hugs him, claiming that he is scared for the commander's safety. The commander melts in his embrace and changes his mind. He asks Sergei to stay with the soldiers as his son. The soldiers are ecstatic to have Sergei stay with them, and they search for little soldier clothing for the young kid that evening. Sergei is given the clothes by the commander after he wakes him up. Wearing these, he moves like a true soldier as he runs around. He is referred to by the others as their little soldier boy. The Germans attack the unit from the air while the child is running around. The soldiers fight the others while swiftly escorting Sergei to a secure location. The number of wounded soldiers is rising quickly. In an effort to be of service, Sergei gives soldiers who are thirsty water. One of them, with a bandage over his eyes, requests him to read a letter from his family. The young boy, who is illiterate, wants to assist, claiming that the soldier's cow is safe back home. He grabs the letter and begins to make things up. The others encourage the soldier to laugh and go along with the story when he admits he doesn't have a cow. In the following scene, we see Katya and the commander talking. The two seem to be attracted to each other, but do not confess their feelings. Later, Sergei tells the commander that he is of the orderly position in the battalion and starts introducing himself as one. However, the boy then sees one of the soldiers' station destroyed from the attack. The commander teaches him to take his hat off to pay respect to the dead soldier. The next day, he insists the commander give him a mission and is given a task to distribute the letters among the soldiers. He completes his task efficiently and even makes the soldiers dance for him. The following day, Sergei goes a little far from the base with his binoculars. As he is playing with it, he sees someone's leg moving from inside a haystack. He rushes back to the battalion and tells the soldiers about his findings. The soldiers are skeptical, but go with the boy anyway. When they reach near the haystack, they are alerted to see two German spies hiding underneath. The spies are arrested, and the kid is praised for his intelligence. That night, the commander shows Sergei the legal papers for his adoption. He is now officially the kid's father. Sergei knows of the commander's feelings for Katya, so to repay his kindness, he takes him to confess to her. But the two see her talking to a different man and wrongfully assume she is interested in someone else. The base is attacked by the Germans again. This time, Sergei gives the frontline soldiers his all by providing ammo, but the soldiers give him the order to return to the shed, since the outside situation is too perilous. Upon arriving at the shed, he witnesses the commander and other individuals in a state of panic due to the loss of the phone connection with the colonel. A soldier is dispatched to mend the damaged cables. After pursuing the soldier, Sergei discovers he has suffered a mortal wound. He asks the dying soldier how he can fix the wires, and does it himself. More troops are brought in after the connection is restored. The 6-year-old saves the lives of all of them. Later, we see the commander and Katya talking by the river. The commander finally confesses his love for her and asks her to be Sergei's mother. But before she can say anything, a soldier approaches them and gives the commander a letter, saying they have been dispatched from the base. The following day, all the soldiers leave for their new base along with Sergei. However, on their way, they come across a minefield that blows off some of their vehicles. The commander is hurt while the group's orderly, who Sergei was close with, dies in the explosion. He sobs and gives the commander a hug. They continue on their way to their new base while carrying the injured. They eventually arrive at the other base and meet the general, who is the commander's leader. He commends the captain for raising such a bright child and expresses his own admiration for the child's ambition. The boy receives a guard's banner for their division the next day. When the general hands him his badge, he swears to defend his nation. One night, their base is attacked brutally, and the commander is trapped under the ruins. Sergei cries for his father and tries to save him. He calls the other soldiers, who finally bring the commander out. The next day, Sergei approaches an injured commander. His hands were hurt while trying to save the commander. The kid is now an inseparable part of the team. He doesn't have a family beside them and moves wherever they go in the war. The movie ends as the regiment is seen moving to another base. A voice in the background narrates that he even took part in the Stalingrad battle and reached Poland with the soldiers. He is currently known as the world's youngest soldier ever, and the legendary story of his bravery is now spread for the whole world to hear.